Hello. I've got something here that was delivered yesterday, but I didn't have time to actually look at it yesterday. I think it was actually in the background of the stream all the time yesterday. So I want to do a video on it today. It is the Soviet or a communist sort of packed version of the OZK suit, which is a very famous Soviet NBC suit. I don't think there's a picture of it, annoyingly, on that Soviet civil defense poster there. It's one of the Soviet civil defense suits that is in loads and loads of their propaganda images or like training images, because it was the one that was sort of mass produced for civil defense use, not the actual, military NBC suits, although soldiers probably were actually issued with them. This one's grey. A lot of the Soviet ones are actually green, but I think a lot of other communist countries had them in grey. And I think the Soviets probably had them in grey as well. It's just the green ones are quite iconic, but it was a lot cheaper to get a grey one than the green one. So this came all the way from Belarus or Belarus or somewhere, I think, when I bought this one. So let's carefully open it without cutting the NBC suit open, and we'll see how cool an OZK suit is. And as I said, I just want to do this really carefully because obviously, a fabric sort of rubbery NBC suit in a bag like this isn't ideal, because you don't want to accidentally rip your thing to shreds trying to open it. So let's get that. Tell you what, might be easier if I just try and stretch this bag open to begin with, then there's no chance of ripping the, there we go, suit material. I don't know if this is one of those suits that comes in a little, like, carry satchel, or if it's just the entire suit's been folded up into a tiny size, but Right, hi, well, hello to everybody. I think the reason for that is these are actually just intended as like standard civil defense style suits, weren't they? So you wanted to make something that people would actually use rather than... Oh, there we go, that's that off. I'll bin that later on. Right, the string now I can actually cut all right, because I can hold it away from the suit to cut it. That's this tough string. Right. In a second, this string should hopefully come undone. That's one bit of string. That's another bit. There we go. The rest of the string will come off now. As I said, I'll bin that all efficiently later. Yeah, it's probably just due to it being more comfortable overall. So is this a satchel or is it the suit just folded in on itself? I think it's the suit folded in on itself. So there we go. This obviously doesn't come with the trousers then, this one, but it is the entirety of the suit itself, it seems, like the actual top half. So let's get the sleeves out. And it's got the typical Commie thing there, so you can put your thumb through it. Oh, and I need to get this other sleeve out, which is typical, otherwise it's like a straight jacket. I think it depends, doesn't it, Ivan, on what nations issued it, but generally I've always seen OZKs on civil defense pictures rather than anything else, of like guys, marking buildings with, symbols. So there we go, it's a giant, as you can see, basically like NBC trench coat. So I've not got the trouser section with it, I've just got the main suit itself, but assume this bit opens up here and then you button it up through the other bit. Yeah, it's for NBC general use. You generally see the most actually on pictures of guys marking radiation exposure. So let's figure out this weird button system. I guess it buttons through buttons, maybe? So I can see the bits on both sides, but I can't see all the poppers. Unless I'm being really daft. Or maybe you just do it up at a certain height, I don't know. Yeah, let's cross it over here then. And then I assume you just put all these through each other. Tell you what though, I'm going to get too hot, aren't I, if I put all this on properly in the stream, but I think the iconic bit of this one is the hood, isn't it? The That's the one you're sort of familiar with seeing with all the GP5 sort of pictures. Yeah, it's because what I was saying, Ivan, is this isn't the green one. This is the Warsaw, one of the Warsaw Pact derivatives of it, but they're still called OZKs. Yeah, they'd be much better with this one. But yeah, this does seem a nice suit because, again, it's like Hype was saying, it's got that rubberized interior and kind of fabric exterior. Again, it's a very retro NBC suit, but modern fabric NBC suits also aren't brilliant, really. But yeah. Yeah, I think you're right there, Hype. I mean, assuming that you could make a good seal with all the bits on, but yeah. I think it was like 20 or 30 pounds from somewhere in Eastern Europe. Yeah, I think this one came from Belarus, though, Gaisa. But yeah, I think quite a lot of communist bloc countries did derivatives of these. But yeah, it's a cool suit, isn't it? Like I said, I'll do a proper video on it where we figure out all the stuff of how it, you know, goes together. But I've wanted an OZK suit for quite a while. It was only recently that I just saw one on eBay for a reasonable amount of money. You know, Belarusia, it's a country sort of next to Russia. It was part of the Soviet Union, but I think it was a semi-autonomous part of it, wasn't it? Okay, thanks, Ivan, for all the information. But yeah, anyway, I won't keep this on all stream, but as I said, it is quite a cool thing. This also dropped out when I opened it, so I don't know which bit this attaches to. That's generally like an improvised bout type thing, though, isn't it? But, I'll show you what the suit looks like if I just sort of open it up. But yeah, it's basically, as you can probably see, that's the hood. And then there's the massive kind of, you know, trench coaty sort of suit. I imagine this would be really good in heavy rain, actually, at keeping you dry. But yeah, it's a cool design. But as I said, interestingly, if you turned it inside out, then it would look green. That's interesting. Is it meant to be that way round? Oh, I've got a weird feeling now. Hang on. Yeah. I wonder. I reckon I might have had it inside out. Let's pull the sleeve back through, because this is the green colour I'm used to. Hello, Richard, if you're just joining. But yeah, so let's pull that other arm through, because the rubberized side would make sense to be on the outside, not the inside. So, oh, do we have a marking now? Hang on. Just says G811, something that looks Cyrillic under that, that's quite blurred due to age. So let's see. Let's see if it's actually meant to be worn this way around. Yeah, thanks for all the info, Ivan. It is useful to hear all that. I just think they're really cool bits of history, these. But they're one of those things that weirdly didn't turn up on the surplus market over here for reasonable amounts of money for them. So. Yeah, the buttons work now. There we go. So it was me being an idiot. As I said, I don't want to overheat wearing this all stream, but yeah, my bad. It's that the suit's meant to be worn this way round. But yeah, there you go. So that makes more sense now. But yeah, that it is actually green. I don't know if it looks green on the webcam. It might look grey, but that is green to my eye. It's pale green that's covered in talc, but it is green actually. They'd be tight enough, Christopher, because the point of these suits isn't really that they're airtight. The point is that like liquid agents can't get through onto your skin. Oh, that is a really good price Hype. Yeah, because sometimes British like Mark III NBC suits go for that sort of price here. But yeah, these are much better kind of rubberized suits. Yeah, and that's the problem. Due to all the corona stuff recently and protests and riots, lots of this gear has just gone through the roof. So yeah, let me, I'll have my coffee anyway, but if you just wanted it for the sort of thumbnail potential, there you go. blood soon, fellow stalker. But yeah. Right, so what you're saying about Nixie? Oh yeah, is the minute display of Nixie really blinking like that, or is it a camera effect? Yeah, the minute display blinks like that. If I show you with the remote height, because now you're on with one where it's on here, I can show you some of the things. But let's get this off for a second. So if we get the remote, let's see. So if I do 0, I assume it's on 0 mode at the moment. I've had it come up. I don't know if it's on one of the weird menu functions at the moment. But if I press 0, it's not doing anything at the moment. 1. That's the current time, and at the moment it's not blinking now, but it just seems to do that after a while. Cheers, Marcus. I'll PM you that on Discord in a bit. But thank you very much. I don't actually have a PO box. I'll just give you my address. But yeah, thanks. So yeah, send it to me. I'll do a video on it, and then I can get it to you whenever you want me to get it to you. Yeah, there we go. It's back to normal again now. But like I said, it seems to be now and again it will just start blinking weirdly. I've been doing streams for a couple of years on YouTube, I think, because bear in mind, for quite a while on YouTube, regular channels couldn't stream. Wow, it did get organised. The background looks a lot neater, doesn't it? And thank you again, Marcus. But I don't know if it would be considered a good masked Arctic sniper. I suppose it could be comfortable for some people. If you saw what this looked like before, it was a lot worse. I mean, there's a pile of helmets there, but that's because at the moment there's not much else place to put those helmets. But in terms of wall organisation and all the stuff like that, it's mostly just that I've got a few masks people always ask to see sitting there. I'm not allowed it in the background anymore. Yeah, Hype. I assume that was that. It was to stop them like burning a number on, you know. Favorite museum in London? The Imperial War Museum's really good, but I kind of like the Natural History Museum quite a lot just because they've got so much cool stuff in there. I've not heard of that mask, Ivan, sorry. Yeah, that's the annoying thing, is as much as I sometimes break that rule, YouTube has a policy now of you're not meant to show guns on streams. Yeah, Fairbairn Sykes are still legal. You just can't randomly walk around with one on you in the street, but you're allowed to own them in your house. I prefer the PMG, just because it takes 40mm filters, in all honesty. Even if it's a ghost mask, you know. And you don't have to get angry trying to put cheek filters into the mask. Yeah, I'd say, Marcus, though, a better museum, if you want to see military stuff, is Bovington Tank Museum, because I think that's the best military museum in the UK. You know, at least out of the big ones, because there's a couple of small, like, good museums. In Woodstock near me, although they call it the Oxford Museum, but it's in Woodstock. That's quite a good, just Victorian museum. But recently they've built a like brand new wing onto it, with lots of military stuff on there. Oh, is it evening for UFX? It's morning here. Well, early afternoon. Royal Armouries, Leeds, isn't it? I don't think I've actually been to Royal Armouries, or if I have, it's been so long ago I can't really remember it. Yeah, up north it's Leeds. That's interesting. So what's in the Devil's Porridge Museum? And weirdly enough, your name English Dalek. I was watching some Doctor Who earlier, because people were like, oh, you can get loads of the old Doctor Who's now on like Blu-ray. And I was like, can you? I was like, oh, you can. So I was watching Spearhead from Space. Okay, that sounds interesting, Ivan. The problem is at the moment, I've no, I've never been to Warhammer World. I do actually have a physical Warhammer behind me, but I assume you mean the models, don't you? Not an actual smashy Warhammer. But Yeah, I watched Spearhead from Space earlier. And the thing is, while some of the acting's a bit shit in the old Doctor Who, it is quite a charming programme. You know, I've got no interest in the old... that's World War One factory. Okay. Okay, Ivan, sounds interesting. I'll be completely honest, I've not really seen many modern Russian masks, I suppose just because they're harder to get under export. In terms of easy suits to put on, Caleb, other than, like, just generic good raincoat type things, I don't really know. That's a shame, Leader. So is it just like Warhammer Fantasy then, like the old Warhammer, not 40k? That's a shame, because I find 40k a lot more interesting. I don't know what weird crusty stuff you've got in your M61 filter is, Tech Tyler. It doesn't sound good. No, because I don't smoke anymore. So I wouldn't review a pipe because I'd have to take up smoking again, wouldn't I? Yeah, this is the one Weapon Collector did, where he bought some sort of like very short kind of pick type hammer, like a mattock, made a custom handle for it because he obviously filled that all in, did the like string wrapped twine style bottom handle. So that's all like a filled in solid handle now. And then he did the cross section on there. So it's actually got, you know, more like a classic striking face. And I think he sharpened that pickup at the back, so it's more like an armor pick. Yeah, it was similar to an ice pick, but I don't think it was an ice pick hammer he used. He did show me what the hammer was he used originally, like, you know, where he modified the hammers to make them. Thank you, Marcus, again. And Vladimir Dragonov, thank you very much. He said, would you rather look a bit like, would you rather look like Jar Jar Binks or talk like Jar Jar Binks? You're not allowed to kill yourself. Probably talk like Jar Jar Binks, because as much as people would say you look racist or you sound racist talking like that, I'm sure looking like Jar Jar Binks would be a bit more of a problem for most people. Oh, it was a brick hammer, was it? Oh, that sounds good. Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, that's this thing anyway. But yeah, the OZK suit is good. So like I said, I'll do a video on that properly later on today. But obviously, the video won't be on today. But the thing is, Caleb, I really don't know, because you'd have to ask some of the Russian people who maybe did the civil defense training. But there's lots of gear like that might have been intended for stuff that never really, you know, would have been used as they intended it, just because, you know, real life cost problems and stuff like that. Ivan said, OZKF is single use 24 hours. The original gangster OZK was meant to be reusable, right? Thank you. What's the British version of Area 51? I know there's a few RAF bases where there's like UFO report type things near them, but I don't think we've got anything very famous. I mean, the closest is probably Porton Down, and that's just unethical chemical, biological, radiological experiments. You know, it's like CBRN kind of stuff, not... thank you again, Marcus. Yeah, I like the look of a lot of cheek filter masks, as you say. I think the issue is just, I wish they were way more practical. But yeah, so remind me on Discord as soon as the stream ends. I'll give you my address, and then if you're buying one of those things, yeah, you can send it to me. I'll do a video of it, and then I'll hold on to it until you get the UK address for me to send it to you, and then I can just send it recorded or whatever. It's really windy outside today, by the way, so if you hear any like weird howling noises in the background, it's not like ghosts or something. I just thought I'd point out it's the wind, because it's like probably like 30-40 mile per hour winds outside today. But are you using Chrome, Merc Boy? Because if you're using Chrome, I literally have to stream via Opera now, because it seems YouTube is really broken with Chrome. It's been on and off rainy near me, to be honest, today. It's not been heavily rainy. FX, has lockdown affected my daily routine? Mostly it just means I drink too much. I mean, I'm on coffee at the moment, thankfully, because it's early in the day, but the amount of units I have of alcohol today compared to, you know, like, on average, compared to, like, a few weeks, months ago is a bit worrying. No, Arduino was brought up on the other stream, and the answer is no, I can't do it. It might be just some of them hype have given up the ghost, but I think it also depends on time of day that you're streaming, you know, what else is going on. eBay, and I'm pretty sure it was from Belarus, but I can't remember for exactly. I'll have to check that when I leave feedback for it, because obviously it all came. But yeah, I'll get around to doing a video on it, then I'll clean most of the talc on the outside off, so it actually looks more like it's green. Yeah, that's how they arrange it, Marcus. It's nice sunny weather as soon as you're meant to be locked in, and then we have to pay our rain debt back. Yeah, we've not really had many thunderstorms where I've been. I think there was a thunderstorm the other day where I could hear a bit of thunder, and I was wondering, was it like somebody slamming doors, or was it thunder? And I worked out it was eventually thunder. I'm afraid not, Ivan. I mean, I've not got a C50, nor have I got a PMK4. The M50 is all right. Just the problem with the M50 is it's not 40mm. You know, as cool as the proprietary filters are, the issue is, as a civilian, good luck getting hold of a decent mount on those filters. I'd hold off on that for now, FX, but it's possible in the future I might be able to accept things and then post them back to people. But at the moment, I only really do that with people I trust, because I don't want somebody saying, oh, well, you never sent it back, you know, or sending me something really dodgy. Oh, good, your shums came. You have to let us know if you like it then, Ivan. You can get cheap M1s on eBay sometimes. Bear in mind, the cheapest way of getting American M1 helmets is to get a foreign clone of the M1. You know, like a load of nations just built them under license. I mean, if you get both masks, Ivan, you should probably compare them. If you wanted to shield a shelter from all types of radiation nightshade, you'd have to be pretty far underground, because gamma rays are very, very penetrating. It depends how high the radiation is outside, but if you're exposed to something like cobalt-60 directly after a nuclear attack or a reactor accident, your odds are not good, even if you're, you know, a few feet underground. Yeah, that's the opinion I have, Wolf Shadow Pill, Wolf Shadow Will. I think the part of the problem is there's lots of people who just don't like Russians or whatever, then say lots of this gear is bad just because of it. And if you're one of the people like me who likes collecting various Geiger counters and whatever else, you'll quickly learn that the Soviet bloc Geiger counters were probably the best in the world, simply for the ranges they did, for the compact size and everything else. Russian or Soviet DP5 series are fucking amazing for how like small the little boxes they come in with the probe. You know, like Britain, we had those big clunky units for like 0 to 300 Rontgen range, and we had an even bigger unit for a regular Geiger counter range. You know, whereas the sort of Soviet DP5 series basically did the entire range they did in one smaller unit. As much as I really do love these old, you know, units, because I love how clunky they are. But sadly, 5G towers, or I mean, fortunately, 5G towers don't give off, you know, it was a bit like how with the US, they had the CDV 700 and the CDV 715s and 720s, and you needed both to do the entire sort of radiation range from background levels to dangerous levels or super dangerous levels, whereas a lot of the Soviet gear just did it all in one counter. So, like, with that Polish one on the wall there, as much as the wiring wasn't very good with it, because, you know, they didn't make big, thick cables like the Soviets did. Like, with that Polish unit, and that does background radiation levels all the way up to 200 Rontgen per hour, same as like a DP5 does, or a DP66. Yeah, basically, Alf, but the thing was they got better at making it because they were restricted to using it. Yeah, that's the thing, Hype, isn't it? It's like, you can definitely look at that and say that's a bit more antiquated and not as good, but their old analog tech is amazing. And that's where they really shined, I think, because obviously, as we've discussed before, they couldn't afford to move away from it. So, you know, they got better at perfecting it, which is kind of what you want. Oh, I'm afraid where you're saying join duty. Don't know if you can see that there. I'll take the Velcro thing off rather than getting the helmet up. But... oh dear, oh dear. So anyway, I'll pop that back on the helmet. Look. I don't know if it inflated it in the UK. Apparently, a lot of people were shipping masks and filters to Hong Kong because there was a big demand for them there. But I didn't see much in the way of mask and filter prices shooting up until all the corona stuff happened. The thing is, I like Duty and all the other factions as well. It's just the only patch I've got for actual Stalker stuff's the Freedom one, because I wanted to put on Flectarm, and I wanted it to look authentic to the Stalker equipment. If ever I get any kind of like black tactical gear and want to put a patch on it, I'll definitely put a Duty patch on that one. Well, I've done Warhammer kits tech, but I've never done Airfix. No, I've not seen a celebrity SAS training thing. Probably not be something I'd be very interested in, to be all honesty. But yeah, the thing is, like I keep saying, Soviet Geiger counters were bloody excellent in terms of how good they were. There's a good Electro Boom video on 5G, by the way, which is worth watching, where he explains the difference between ionizing radiation and whatever else. But yeah, my plan today, I won't be doing another stream in the evening. I don't know if Weapon Collector's on tonight, because if you didn't catch him yesterday, he was out early this morning doing like some work for one of his relatives. So I don't know if he's on tonight, because I think originally he said he thought he might be on Thursday, but then wouldn't be on Friday. But what is my least favourite game? Oh, probably some pay-to-win mobile bullshit. I don't actually know. Do you mean like out of serious games? Oh, Hype, while you're on, let me see when your Plessy should be coming, because you should hopefully get one with the strap as well, like that. Obviously, I'll have to wait to send it to you with the MD3 with the other stuff. But I might be able to give you a, rough estimation of when it should be delivered here at least, and then I can put some batteries in or test it for you. Hang on, I need to load up eBay on Chrome, because I'm not signed into it on... You signed out. Sign in again. So it's probably because I cleared all the cookies and that like I regularly do on my PC. As sort of a security thing. Purchase history, let me just let you know Hype about that. Estimated delivery Friday the 12th of June, so it's not come today to Tuesday the 16th of June. So hopefully that should be here within a week. No worries, I'll get that one down just so you can see it again. I know you're pretty familiar with the Plessies, but they are cool kit. It's just nice that they're turning up again at reasonable prices for what they are. Because apparently the problem was, according to some people on like YouTube and blogs, was that what happened is loads and loads of these were kicking about for like £10 a piece. There we go. It's working, 0.0 centigrade. And I know for a fact these do work, where I've tested them with radium and shit. Basically, what happened with the Plessies, apparently, was that when Fukushima happened, lots and lots of companies bought up all the stock of them to then sell it for extortionate prices, going, oh, you need like a doomsday Geiger counter because of Fukushima. Even though for most people these are useless because they do not show background radiation. You need it because it's in centigrade units. You need at least 1 milligray in the air of gamma radiation for it to register on the Plessy. So, yeah, the Plessy is definitely very much a doomsday counter. But it's quite cool having a digital, equivalent of one of the old CDVs or one of those. Because this can go up to a few hundred centigrade, I think. I've never seen how high these actually go. Makes a bit of a whining noise. I don't know if you can hear that. But it's essentially as a Geiger counter. This is a lot closer to Soviet tech than British tech. in a sense. This one's from 1985. Yeah, that's cool. Marcus, if you send me anything, just let me know when you want it back to, which address you want it sent to, and all stuff like that. But yeah, the essentially these work by just having a Geiger tube in them, a bit like the Soviet SI3BGs or whatever they're called, like, you know, a very non-reactive Geiger-Müller tube that basically only literally detects gamma radiation, and then it just reports it in centigrades on the screen. I've seen some videos of people putting like cesium-137 on these and getting them to read like 20 or 30 centigrade, which is pretty scary. But they seem to work absolutely fine. They're shielded electronics, and that's actually a polycarbonate case. It's not a really cheap electronics case. It's a, you know, plastic. It's actually polycarbonate, so they were designed to be like impact resistance. But yeah, they're all cool old tech. And obviously the other nice thing is you can actually, even if you didn't want to open up the inside, you can see some of the electronics inside from looking through like the crystal kind of plastic stuff at the top. But yeah, they're cool things, Plessies. So I don't mind getting them for people from the UK when they do turn up at good prices. The issue has been for ages. But again, people were thinking like they were worth £200. They used to be like £10 each, because they were like mass produced, you know, during the late part of the Cold War. But yeah, it shows you how small, you know, these things have got. If you consider the Terra P has a bigger operational range than the Plessy, and comparing the size of these two things. But yeah, at some point I would love to get the late generation of the Plessy that could actually read background radiation, because they did do one, as much as it was as chunky as that thing that had a probe and read background radiation. But sadly, that model didn't. That was just the one, you know, you wore if you went onto the surface out of your bunker, and you could just do a reading like they do in Fred's. Oh, hello, Rajiv, by the way. Sorry if I didn't say hello to you, but, you know, I've been sort of a bit distracted by talking about the Plessy. But people have been talking about the PS5 and stuff. I've not even looked at any of the PS5 stuff, in all honesty. There's not loads and loads of chips in their hype, but it's quite a chunky chip. When your one comes and I check it's all working, I'll take some photos for you so you can see what it looks like inside. When am I watching Chernobyl? I've watched Chernobyl several times. It's disgraceful, really. Implying that I've not seen Chernobyl. Just made some chips. Yeah, as I said, I'll send it with the MD3 as well, assuming that I can get both in a parcel where the weight will be sent properly. Otherwise, I'll just send them individually. But no, that's fine, Delivery Man. It's just more. It was a conversation. I didn't really know what to say. You know, I've got a PS3. It's actually behind this monitor, covered in dust. But I never really got into consoles after PS3 sort of 360 generation, just because I needed to always use PCs for video editing. It was kind of like, well, I'll just stick with getting, you know, more and more PCs. But yeah, weirdly, I've probably shown you this before, Hype, but this is one of the interesting things. Let's see if I can get that off without making anything fall. Is the electronics in the PDRMs. Look, the green light still works. The electronics in these are actually the exact same type of circuits that the Plessy uses. It's just this is on an old analog display, not a digital display. So I would assume it is a similar range of probably up to about 300 centigrade. Obviously, the difference is this is connected to an ion chamber because it's just got a big ion chamber at the bottom there. The Plessys use a little Geiger-Müller tube. I wonder, actually, if I've still got batteries in the other, the one I've got at the bottom. These actually go on bookshelves, which is nice. Yeah, that's its box, essentially. I know you've probably seen this before, but I find it interesting. Get the light on. Actually, that's the brighter light. Essentially, how these work is you've just got a little ion chamber kind of box in there, open air ion chamber. And Yeah, when I've looked at both of them, Hype, nearly all the circuit board components are the same stuff. It's just the Plessey has a digital chip in it linking to the display, whereas this is basically just a like ampere kind of volt display, like the CDVs use, where it's just got like minus and positive cable. And I mean, in theory, it's simpler with a ionization chamber because it's literally just what it's detecting in the chamber is what it displays on the screen as a voltage. With just different resistor values for strength of the radiation. From what I understand, Hype, yeah, I imagine, although I obviously wouldn't want to cannibalize an old Plessey when they still work, I imagine it would probably be possible for somebody with a lot of electronics knowledge to, modify one of those to run on a much more modern digital display, or, use some of the components in older things. But bear in mind, when the Plesseys came out was when they started doing the upgrade series for the old Radiacs, and they basically just put new electronics in them, which were very similar to the Plesseys. So I think that's basically what they did, is basically because they'd come up with a new unit, they said, could we use the majority of those electronics in these units, and upgrade the Mark IIs into these and make them a lot more practical, so they run using less battery power, the electronics are more hardened, more responsive. Yeah, anyway, what I was going to show with this, I don't know if it's going to be strong enough, but I thought it would be cool. Yeah, sometimes you can display this. If I get like a big bit of Torbanite, this was from the Congo. A lot of Torbanite comes from the Congo. Let's see if I can get this to work. This isn't the one with the really cool backlight, by the way. Anyway, let's flick this on and let the screen go down. I'm going to have to do this without electrocuting myself, which can sometimes be a bit difficult. Ah, okay, that's interesting, Tanya. So yeah, obviously he could hear from the radio chatter something serious had happened. I like both the Fool. I also like Arses. What's not to love? But anyway, there we go. Let's see if we can demonstrate this. Right, so wait for the needle to fall down, because the problem is with an air-filled ionization chamber, the needle moves a bit with air going around. We'll get the Torbanite. There we go. Yeah, the reason is because this gives off quite a lot of alpha radiation. When you have an open air ion chamber, you can, get these to go crazy. Let's flick that off. But yeah. Yeah, everything is fine. No, I don't think so, but yeah. Let me look that one up, Hype. It might be one of the ones I've seen, because Surviving the Apocalypse has done lots of videos on those little sort of commercial units. Yeah, I think he's probably done a video on that one. If not, I've seen other people do it. But I do like those. It's sort of similar to the Bereg, isn't it? And a lot of the other similar ones, it's just a digital display on that one. But yeah, Surviving the Apocalypse has done lots of videos on that and like very similar ones. Right, Miss Valadez? Yeah. The Torbanite, I'll not hold that in my hand for too long, because I'm sure a lot of you know if you put a Geiger count in there, that is pretty active. Although the nice thing with Torbanite, at least, is Torbanite being a natural, not enriched uranium type thing. As much as it gives off quite a lot of decays, other than the alpha energy and a bit of beta, the gamma of it isn't very energetic. So, while you wouldn't want to be next to it all the time, if you have it like across the room and then you've got a Geiger counter here, you can't really pick up the gamma range from it there. Obviously, all my more radioactive stuff, as you've probably seen in the videos, I keep in a safe behind lead shielding, which is a bit overkill, but, better safe than sorry. Let me have a look at that Hype. Oh, a lot of chips. So what's that? Mostly just resistors and chips, by the look of it. Yeah. resistor. So there's like 8 or 9 resistors on there, a load of chips, obviously the LCD style display. They capacitors, the big rectangle things on there, like rather than the old traditional sort of circular capacitors, they like rectangular capacitors. That's interesting, Marcus. Apparently, though, Czech people were telling me that was from a like tank rebreather setup. So if you drove it underwater, that's what you'd use. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? I'll have a look on Discord as soon as the thing ends, because I'll send you my details. But yeah, it's funny when you open up something like a Terra P and you see there's literally like 1 chip on there. Tell you what. While I'm here and I'm on the stream and you've got me really interested in Geiger counters again, I mean, I'm always interested. Do you want to see the inside of this? Because I'm not sure if I've shown you, but I might as well open it up. This is assuming that the screwdriver for it, yeah. I've put custom screws on this one so it's easier to open. But let me. Right, let's have a look. I just need to work out which size one it is for doing it. It's going to be the biggest one. Right. But yeah, I'll show you. This doesn't have that many processing chips on it. This one, I said it's very simple electronics for what this one actually is. But yeah, this is in some ways is quite similar to that big Soviet calculator. I think when you see what's in this, I need the other side of that thing. I think that's slightly unscrewing. Let me just check which was the biggest side. T8 to T9. So I want the T9 side. I ought to buy one of these with a slightly bigger head on it. But this is one of those things where sometimes it just gets a bit awkward to unscrew. Although most of the time it's all right. Right, that one's coming loose now. Oh, I need to take the strap off it in a second as well, because the carry strap obviously keeps the lid connected as well. The carry strap, this is really simple. It's just literally something that pushes through a thing and then latches on. So let's get this off. And you can have it in 2 settings, like either a long strap or a short strap. I prefer it on short strap because it also means it's more securely held on because it has to fall further to get through. But yeah, it's like an acrylic carry strap. It's a really weird thing. Yeah, it just literally notches on. Okay, so let's try and get the rest of these screws out. With your one, obviously, even if I open it up to put some silica gel in or whatever to testing it a bit, so I'll make sure I send it to you with the original screws rather than custom screws and washers. Right, that one's unscrewing now, so that's good. Although it's still a bit. Yeah, everything else coming loose. Oh, some of these, like, you have to start doing one side to get the other side to move a bit. But yeah, talk amongst yourselves while I'm struggling with, that's all right, the fool. Talk amongst yourselves while I'm struggling to undo the lid on the Plessy. It might help, actually, if I push the 2 bits together. Yeah, there we go, while I'm unscrewing it. All right, Stug? Right. This one's finally coming loose. Let's see you then. I'm just looking at my CCTV outside and it looks really stormy outside now. The wind doesn't look too bad, even though I could hear it a lot earlier because the trees aren't swaying too much, but the sky is really overcast. Yeah, Marcus has been on quite a while, Hype. I think he originally came on asking for like advice on masks when all the protests were happening. What? Because was it Neapolitan coloured, pink and like a dark pink? Yeah, I can understand why they're saying ice cream Neapolitan. What I do need to send you at some point, Hype, if I remember, I was watching a load of paranormal things from Asia, and there was a really interesting, creepy place in Hong Kong that would be good to go for with night vision. It was like some abandoned school or something, and people use it sometimes for airsoft stuff. I have to remember what it was called, but that was quite interesting. I think, you know, the show obviously came to the conclusion it wasn't haunted, but it was still cool, old creepy, like, school building. Anyway, just getting all these screws out. Essentially, although it looks like I'm taking ages to do it, as I am, all this is just literally 4 screws that hold the lid on. You know, like the polycarbonate case to the actual... Oh, is there a crack in my plastic there? The polycarbonate, I'm not sure. Or is that a injection mold? I'll find out in a minute. Yeah, it's the slingshot weapon collector made me. It's good, but I haven't really had much chance to use it yet. But it's a good slingshot. He did a really good job of making it. It's just I've not had much of a chance to use it. Right, I've got the irritating thing at the moment where like 2 of the screws do not want to undo. So I'm going to have to get my pliers. Which drawer have I got the pliers in? Not that one. Not that one. Oh, brilliant. I've got the pliers in a different room. I'll still get this off. Ah, cool. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a really cool sort of thing to do while wearing night vision. No, I can't. And FX, I'm in Britain. And as we've said before over and over and over again, you better stop asking about this because it's a YouTube rule. I can't get out firearms or like replica guns on streams because YouTube says like you can't do it anymore. Right, let me try and put this back in again and get out. I might replace the screws in this actually when I finally got the lid off. I've got the original 4 actually on that shelf, so I might just put them back in. It's just the annoying thing of, you know, 2 of the screws are like the threads I think are wearing down in them, so they're not coming off very well. If I had my pliers, I could just unscrew them that way, but I don't. Which one are you looking at? That one? Yes, this is a British civil defence Geiger counter. But it's a Doomsday Geiger counter, not a background level Geiger counter. And it's a dose equivalent one, rather than it being, you know, pure counter. It doesn't actually show you what it's counting. It just basically says, oh, wait, you're being exposed to deadly levels of radiation. Here's the weird thing, Marcus. If it's not a stream, I can do a video on it. And I do want to do an updated video showing, like, the Martini Henry and the Schmitz Rubin in one video. But the issue is, you can't do it on streams. That's the weird thing. So it's like with Weapon Collector. Whenever he's doing a regular video, he can have his background put up and have the real guns on display and all that. When he's doing a stream, he has to put the thing down. But yeah, it's all across YouTube now. They've made that policy. And I don't want to, you know, endanger my channel by constantly getting out guns when people ask for it. I've got some real guns, JJ. Did you not know? I just can't show them on stream. But I actually got real guns, which I don't need a license for. I've got a Martini Henry and a Schmitz Rubin. Because in UK law, for some weird reason, guns past a certain date aren't classed as guns anymore. Don't ask me why a legislator thought that was a good idea. But right, what I need to do is maybe... These are probably going to be a bit too flimsy, aren't they, these ones? But let's see if I can get it to move with this. And I'll just put the old screws in once I've got this one. These 2 off. I think one of them's turning slightly now. Yeah, right, this is coming off now, so I should hopefully finally be able to open this up in within 5 minutes or so now. What I'm using is using the tweezers. I put them inside the screw thing, and I'm using them to twist it. I think an Allen key might work quite well on here, but I don't have any Allen keys in this room handy. I've got a load in the drawer, but I don't want to walk off for 5 minutes to go look for them. No, it's not FX. It's a YouTube policy across all of the platform. So if they keep doing it, eventually YouTube will probably just ban their channels. But yeah, it's literally a YouTube policy on guns now. You can't show them in live streams. It's literally what they say on their website if you look it up. It's not me making that up. That is what YouTube say on their own thing. It's because after some mass shootings, they're like, oh, we can't be blamed for people live streaming a mass shooting if we claim that they're not allowed to show guns on live streams. Well, I don't think a suicidal mass shooter is going to give a shit if their account gets banned, like after the date they've done the stream. This is getting very frustrating now. I'm definitely putting the original screws back in. The reason I originally changed it to these screws is that they were originally a bit easier to get in and out, but they're really not now because obviously the inside sort of hex heads of these have, you know, been eaten away a bit by screwdrivers. Isaac Jacob says, could he get a shout out, please? There you go. Do you make any videos or did you just want me to say your name? There's Jacob Isaacs as well, isn't he? But he's an actor. Come on, you bastard. It's almost not you, I'm on about the Plessy where I'm trying to undo the screws. Right. Have I got my set of screwdrivers in here? Because if so, I might just go like, fuck you, I'm going to rip you out. It's annoying because this one I can feel keeps turning and it is slowly coming out. It's just not being as responsive as it should be. Oh, I didn't see a live stream yesterday, Tom. When did you stream? Was it on your channel or what? I saw you sent some messages, but I haven't checked the one since last night. But you're right, Tom. I'm all right, Penetrator, thank you. Oh, it was on the normal 13 o'clock channel. I assume it's still up there, so I can go back and watch it, can't I? I'll definitely do that later today, because I've not got loads on today. No, it's just because the screws have got on too tight, and now, you know, like where the heads have worn away a bit. All right, cool, I'll watch that after this, because I need to download some stuff, so I'll watch it while I'm downloading some stuff. Right, I think this one's finally fucking turning a bit. But of course, I'm wearing away the screw even more, but I'll just replace these screws with different screws after I've done the stream anyway. Come on. Right. The annoying thing is I can see it moving, it's just not moving very reliably. Ah, I've got the bastard now, he's coming. Yeah. Right. Ah, cool, so it's a test stream. And did it seem to work? There we go, that's fallen on the floor, but doesn't matter. Right, finally, here you go. This is what you wanted to see. So, you've got your 3 C cells there. You've got 1 chip there, actually saying that. So there's a chip there, but there's also the chip on that side, which is the one I think you are looking for. And there's the Geiger-Müller tube there. So the Geiger-Müller tube, I think it's a Philips one in this one. What I can show you actually is, if you want to see me put artificial numbers on this, I can get real numbers to go on, but I'm pretty sure if I get that up on there, I don't want to damage it, but I'm pretty sure sometimes you can get it to slightly short on the Geiger-Müller tube and then give a reading that way. Yeah, there we go. I was saying fail now, but yeah. But yeah, if you ever want to see the numbers move, there's a really easy way of doing it like that. But yeah, obviously you don't really want to damage it, but yeah. Yeah, they were just the British civil defence and military, like old Cold War units, to replace those things. But as we said, they didn't totally replace those things. Yeah, it's a lot nicer now, isn't it? Redacted, because main thing is because most people have just stopped caring about corona. They don't want to talk to me about masks anymore, which is brilliant. In the sense of, you know, not that I mind people, but it's just nice to actually be able to answer people's questions properly rather than it being the chat just going, you know, because. I assume it's the fail is when it short circuits or one of the bits doesn't report something back. So I assume it can detect it short circuiting. So I assume if the tube overloads, it fails. If it short circuits, it fails. But I don't actually know. Bob Loblong says, "Love the content, trans right comrade." Trans rights. In all honesty, like I've said before, I don't care if people are straight, gay, black, white, you know, transsexual, straight, whatever. It doesn't bother me. As long as people don't push agendas onto other people, it doesn't bother me at all. So thank you very much. But, you know, that's the way I think about that stuff. You know, as I've been saying recently about destroying statues and stuff like that, destroying history does not change history. You know, you can learn from history, but it's not a very good idea to destroy it. You know, with all the stuff that's been going on recently. I think this is a silica gel kind of type thing there, that bit there. So this should, if I get it on properly, push back on. So. Yeah, they might be if we get a big second wave. But what I'm going to do now, I won't do it on the stream, but I'm going to put 4 separate screws on this to actually get that. If it was on Facebook, no, because I haven't actually looked properly today, but I will look a bit later. They shouldn't be destroyed, though, JJ. Even if you wanted them taken down, they should be put in a museum. Because literally destroying history is like one of the most Orwellian things you can do. There's a big bit in 1984 about that. You know, destroying history basically is what the Soviets did, didn't they? To rewrite it, you know. Yeah, it's not necessarily saying you're honouring it, is it? But it's history that happened. Yeah, as Steve says, the best way to repeat history is to erase history. Just because if you remove something from existence doesn't mean it happened. You know, if you look at the Stalinist pictures where people were airbrushed out of them after they'd been killed, I do home repairs on some stuff FX, but if it's too complicated, then no. Because here's the thing, it's like, obviously, I don't like the Nazis, but we should remember that that history happened. You wouldn't want to, like, completely remove all traces of them from books and whatever else, because that's essentially rewriting history. And annoyingly, some countries have been doing that with, like, past things as well, like, not even related to the slave trade or anything like that, but, you know, political regimes from their countries that weren't very desirable. So rather than people learning about them and learning about, like, you know, what happened and how to learn from it, what they end up doing is just pretending it didn't happen. It could be. It's obviously it's a high voltage thing, but it's it's similar to a Soviet SI3BG. It's just, you know, meant to be a very gamma sort of responsive tube, but nothing else. I think it's probably because it was so bulky. So if they made it run off 3 AA's, it would probably be a really small battery compartment. But bear in mind, a lot of the other British stuff was D cells or weird obsolete batteries. So at least that's, you know, a bit of a step down. I assume it's, yeah, that they wanted it to run on 4.5 volts and then they just wanted batteries that lasted a while. Anyway, I'll be off in a minute because I've got some videos to watch and to read Tom's posts he said about. And I've also got to do a load of shit around the house today, cleaning stuff up. But the thing is, Steve, I certainly wouldn't argue with the fact that they could put a second plaque on it, you know, if there's only one historical plaque, and then say, you know, on the counter argument, this person has done these things. Yeah, that's the thing, Tom. I sent you that Dankula video, didn't I, where he was saying the same thing. The problem is it's going to make a lot of people racist if you basically brush all their concerns off and say, you know, no, you're not allowed to have your history and stuff like that. But yeah, I think there's meant to be even more like protests and riots going on in the UK this weekend. You know, like I said, it's all US civil defense helmets. No, the only civil defense helmet I've got is the yellow Swiss one, which is like the Stauhelm. But well, yeah, Dano, any genocide is wrong, isn't it? If people basically do something bad and then pretend it didn't happen, it's wrong no matter who did it. You know, this is the thing, before I go off, that I think is just worth explaining to people. Two wrongs don't make a right. So, you know, if one person did something bad, you shouldn't say, well, somebody else has done something bad, therefore it's okay. No, anybody that's been killed in a genocide, no matter what their skin color was, you know, what their religion, that's always a bad thing, you know. I don't understand the logic of, oh, one side's done it, therefore it's okay for somebody else to do it, because that's basically what most reactionary politics ends up being. Well, my side, you know, your side did it to my side. So, you know. Yeah, exactly. That's basically, I've got a video coming out on Sunday Hype, and that's basically what a lot of it was explaining in that, you know, people should have the right to protest, you know, and freedom of speech. But, you know, freedom of speech and the right to peaceful protest does not mean smashing stuff up, looting stuff, destroying historical artifacts, rewriting history. Yeah, cool. I'll check out your new videos and all that, Tom, today, because I've got jobs to do around the house, but I'll definitely be sitting down because I still need to watch a couple of the 13 o'clock podcast episodes from the last couple of weeks where I've been busy and, you know, all that. But yeah, thanks everybody. It's been a good stream today. Hope everybody's all right and all that stuff. But, you know, interesting times as always to live through, I guess. So yeah, see you all. And I need to get that video filmed as well on the OZK suit before I forget. And before I get even, you know, more sweaty and hot because it's really humid now. There's going to be a thunderstorm. Right, cool. See you, everybody.